How's it going? This is Nick Savoy, and today we are going to be doing a mock draft. I actually won a 12-team PPR league last year, and we are going to be implementing some of my strategies. So let's get this open. Let's use Fantasy Football Calculator. Fantasy Football Calculator is cool because there might be some actual people. We're going to do 12 teams, 3 wide receivers, and a flex. That is a running back, wide receiver, and tight end. Okay. Let's draft from the 1 spot because this is kind of a little bit of a hard spot. You know, it can be tough and it's challenging. Okay, got my name all set up. Okay, so there's about 5 minutes until the draft, so why don't we just take a minute and just talk about the upcoming season, maybe some players whose values have changed. So some value changes that I've noticed are Jerick McKinnon, that one's obvious. The San Francisco 49ers gave him a $7.5 million contract, and I think that that's proof that he's going to be their every down back. Michael Crabtree went to the Baltimore Ravens, and he's basically the only person there. And he's athletic. He has the body type of a wide receiver. If I could get him as my wide receiver 3, I would be so happy. That would just be such a solid, third wide receiver to have. When LeGarrette Blount left Philadelphia, he touched the ball 180 times last season. So LeGarrette Blount left behind 180 touches. Alex Collins, so his value hasn't really changed, but I just want to mention him. He's going really late in drafts. He's going around the time of Jay Ajayi. And, I mean, I would choose Ajayi, but I honestly feel like there can be an argument that Alex Collins could be a better, he was just really good at the end of the season last year for Baltimore. Let's see, who else's value has changed? Oh, okay. Jack Doyle's value has dropped because Eric Ebron went there. So they're going to be sharing targets. 2 years ago, Dwayne Allen and Jack Doyle were sharing a tight end backfield, and then Dwayne Allen left, and Jack Doyle was, he was a tight end 1 last year, but, I mean, he was okay. But keep in mind that Andrew Luck wasn't there last year, so, and also, I'm not quite sure what's going on with Andrew Luck, whether he's injured or not. T.Y. Hilton is good if Andrew Luck is healthy. If Andrew Luck isn't healthy, I mean, T.Y. Hilton, he's an upside wide receiver too, but to be honest, I don't really like him that much. One thing that I did hear about on a podcast is that Alshon Jeffrey has a torn rotator cuff, and he's not going to be playing until halfway through the season or 6 months into the season. So that leaves Nelson Aguilar and Zach Ertz as their primary pass catcher. I think that really helps Nelson Aguilar's value the most. Last year he was averaging 10 or 11 targets in the Philadelphia offense, and he's going very late in drafts. So if I were you guys, I would do some ESPN and some Yahoo mock drafts to see where the 12 people are actual real people. They're not just computers, and just to see where Nelson Aguilar is going. There's a couple bargains that I've noticed late. Mohamed Sanu, Nelson Aguilar, Tyler Eifert's going very late, and he's always injured, but he could have some serious upside. Another player that I want to mention whose value has decreased is Sammy Watkins. And the reason why is because he's the second or the third receiving option behind Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, and also Alex Smith left Kansas City. So their quarterback is Patrick Mahomes. He is yet to be proven. And also Alex Smith has gone to the Redskins. I think that he's a tad risky this year. I mean, he should be fine, but I've never seen him in the Redskins offense. This is an obvious one, but Kirk Cousins is now in Minnesota, I think that Kirk Cousins is going to sling it. He's going to have a good season. I think that Adam Thielen and Stefan Diggs are both going to have a good season. You can't really get any of those guys as bargains. They're kind of mostly going the same thing. But one player that I think is ranked really low in a lot is Melvin Gordon. I think last year he was like the third, the fourth, or the fifth. Oh no, he's not. He's like the fifth or the sixth running back, and that's where he's ranked this year. But I think that Melvin Gordon is underrated. So okay, so here comes my pick. The draft is about to start. Right now, everybody knows that really it's Todd Gurley or it's Le'Veon Bell. I really don't think that you can go wrong with either of these people, but I'm going to choose Todd Gurley just because he had a good end of the year last year, and he had a slump year 2 years ago, and he had an amazing year last year. I don't think that he's going to have a slump year, have an amazing year, and then have a slump year. I think he's back on track. They got a new coach. They got Ndamukong Suh on defense to get the ball back more and run the ball. I'm going to go with Todd Gurley, and I'm not going to regret it. So this is one of the advantages of having the first pick, is that you get to go one and you get to get the best superstar, but now you have to wait until like 20 and 21 and just it's like wide receiver 2, low end running back 1, high end running. It's just like your team just, okay, let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, Putin. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm a finance major. I can't even count. Okay, so this is amazing because 9 out of these 12 people are actual people. So this is going to show like some players and who people reach for. And I'm actually going to you know what? I'm going to take note of that. Who's some players that I'm noticing that people are reaching for? Okay. So just a heads up, guys, one video that I strongly recommend, I'm going to be coming out with a video and all it's going to be about is how to win your league, what habits to build, what to do before the season, and there's also going to be a part about how to celebrate, how to, keep your chin up at the end and just enjoy winning your league. So keep your eye out for that. It's a complicated video. There's a lot of steps, so I'm still getting some of my words down, and I'm going to film it. But it's just going to be called How to Win Your League, and to be honest, I think it has potential to go viral. It really does. So I want to thank a few subscribers that I've gotten so far and a few people that have commented on my videos. You know who you are. I just want to take a second and say thank you. This is only my third or fourth video, and I really appreciate the support. Wow, my kids, I met a girl, dated her for 3 years, contemplated marriage, dated her for another 6 years, married her, had kids, and paid for their college. That's how long this is taking. Okay, so here's something that we can talk about. I want to highlight somebody. Saquon Barkley. Now, needless to say, this is up in the air. If he goes to the Browns, he's probably going to be their workhorse. If I were him, I wouldn't want to go to the Browns, but, you can't really choose. But I'm really surprised. Oh, wow, Melvin Gordon went 9. That's what I mentioned earlier. Melvin Gordon went 9. I mentioned that he was going late. Saquon Barkley, to be honest, I don't really trust the Browns that much. And if Saquon Barkley went to the Browns, I wouldn't be drafting him. Wow, Kareem Hunt fell to 13? What planet are these people on? If Kareem Hunt falls to 13, you take him. I was doing a draft and Ezekiel Elliott fell to like 8 or 9. And I was doing another draft in one of my other videos. I think David Johnson fell to like 7, and I was like, oh my God. So I'm really happy that I'm making this video because drafting from the first spot, it's a really big disadvantage. So when it gets closer to the season, if one of you guys happen to get the first draft video, I hope that you guys are able to watch this one and maybe use some of my tips and maybe just understand how drafting from the first spot works. In my opinion, drafting from spots 9, 10, 11, or 12 are most advantageous. Drafting from 1 is the least advantageous, and okay, it's my pick. Okay, so let's see what we got here. I already have a good running back 1. Okay. Keenan Allen's on a little bit of an island, so is Mike. Ooh, wow, running backs got ugly really fast. Okay, I'm going to reach for Jerick McKinnon. The Bengals don't really use Joe Mixon that much. If Dion Lewis didn't go to, I'm going to talk about that at the end of the video. Okay. If Dion Lewis didn't go to the Titans, I would choose Derrick Henry, but I'm going to choose Jerick McKinnon. I don't think I can go wrong. I think he's going to be a high-end running back 1 this year. Okay, so it's also my lead. It's also my turn, and I need to fill in some spots. Keenan Allen, keep in mind that this is PPR. If this wasn't PPR, I would probably go with Evans, but Keenan Allen is on his own island. Mike Evans, he's a star. He's a target hog, but he had a bad year last year. And Jameis Winston, to be honest, I don't think that Jameis Winston really has that good at quarterback skills. So I'm not saying to avoid Mike Evans, but in this case, I'm going to take Keenan Allen over Mike Evans. So far I have Gurley, I have Jerick McKinnon, I have Keenan Allen. I haven't seen Jerick McKinnon go this late, so I'm extremely surprised that he made it to, what is this, 12, 20. I cannot believe that McKinnon made it to like 24 or 25. That in a lot of drafts, either the computer or realistic people are reaching for Jerick McKinnon. So while my kids are still going to college and this is taking forever, I want to take a second and talk about Derrick Henry. DeMarco Murray was released in free agency, and Derrick Henry, it looks like, is going to be their workhorse. However, Dion Lewis, third down back. Dion Lewis was there, and to be honest, this makes Derrick Henry a little risky. Like if I had to choose between Derrick Henry and Joe Mixon, I would probably choose Derrick Henry because one thing I've noticed about Joe Mixon is that the Bengals don't use him as well as I hope, and I think that Cincinnati's backfield has been inconsistent. There's Jeremy Hill and Giovanni Bernard, so I would rather take Derrick Henry. However, Derrick Henry, he's a power runner. I don't really see him as that kind of Jerick McKinnon, like catching the ball out of the backfield and deking back. I'm not sure how they're going to use Dion Lewis. I don't know if they're going to bury him. I don't know if he's going to come in and play like a Jerick McKinnon. I don't know if Derrick Henry is going to be Latavius Murray and Dion Lewis is going to be Jerick McKinnon in Minnesota last year. I'm not sure if it's going to be that type of role. So that's definitely some values that have changed. Some suggestions that I have in general to getting a solid draft include making sure that you have solid running backs. There are some running back, not some running back ones in terms of rank, but some number 1 running backs that get the bulk of the carry that you can get in like the 5th or the 6th round if you're smart, but you have to be strategic. I always get 2 running backs, not necessarily in the first 2 rounds, but I always get 2 workhorses, and then I make sure and I have a number 1 running back on the 3rd. However, you can always work the waiver wire. I'm not sure if you guys play in budget leagues, but I would strongly recommend playing in budget leagues because it's a lot of fun. Like waiver wire or priority is how much money you put in, and you can budget players, and it's a lot of fun. So, God, I don't even know what I was saying right now. Okay, so this is interesting. Aaron Rodgers and Deshaun Watson both win in the 3rd round. I would never take Aaron Rodgers or Deshaun Watson in the 3rd round because those top 3 picks are to fill in either, your 3 wide receivers with superstars, 1 of your running backs with superstars, 2 of your running backs with superstars. And if you take a quarterback, there's only like, okay, so picture Phillip Rivers, okay? Middle of the tier quarterback, decent quarterback, going to get you 15 to 20 points a week. Then picture Aaron Rodgers. It's like a little bit more, but not to the point where it's worth not like getting a wide receiver 2 instead of a wide receiver 1, giving up like a strong, like a Christian McCaffrey or Jerick McKinnon, like in like the 3rd round that you're missing out. Okay, so it's my pick. So at this point, do I have 2 running backs? Oh, I don't. I need a running back. Don't I? Or do I? Oh, no, I have 2 running backs and I have a wide receiver. Okay. All right. I'm not even going to talk about this one. I'm going to save my breath because it's obvious. I chose Stephon Diggs, and right now I have the choice between Michael Crabtree, Golden Tate, Demaryius Thomas, Brandon Cooks, and Alshon Jeffrey. So right now, an argument could be made that Michael Crabtree and Demaryius Thomas, it's between those 2. Like I said, Alshon Jeffrey's injured, and I'm going to, you know what? I'm going to talk about Brandon Cooks in a second. Let's talk about him. I'm going to take Demaryius Thomas. There can be an argument that he's a wide receiver 1, and the big factor of Demaryius Thomas is that Case Keenum is a Bronco now, so he doesn't have Brock Osweiler, some mediocre quarterback slinging it to him. He has good. Okay, so I'm actually really happy with my team right now, despite the fact that I have a very disadvantageous draft position, obviously, and that's opinion. Everything I say on this video, guys, is my opinion. I'm not saying that this is the law of the United States. This is just my opinion using my experience in fantasy. But wow, I have a really good team so far. McKinnon's a solid running back too. Keenan Allen, Diggs, and Demaryius Thomas are my 3 wide receivers. Okay, wow, this is happening in almost every draft. I'm ending up with Pierre Garçon. I ran out of good running backs. Chris Carson. I'll get Chris Carson next round because he's a number 1 running back. One thing I've noticed with the way I'm drafting is almost every single time I'm getting the little tier of Pierre Garçon, Devin Funches, and where's Nelson Aguilar? Oh, yeah, Nelson Aguilar's still around. Okay, maybe we can talk about him later. So I'm running out of time, or else I would talk about this more, but I'm going to choose Pierre Garçon because he's a number 1 wide receiver. He was injured last year. Jimmy Garoppolo is a very good quarterback, and now that he's out from under Brady's shadow. He has his own team. I think that Pierre Garçon is going to pop off, and I did not realize that I have another pick. Chris Carson will be gone, but then I want Nelson. I have such a man crush on Nelson Aguilar, but if I don't get, I have to get Chris Carson. I have to get a 3rd running back. This is a position where I see a running back and it's the only one left, and I pick it, even though I want Nelson Aguilar down there. One thing I've noticed is if there's a position and there's a drastic drop-off and you're like, if I don't get this guy, I'm screwed. However, there's another position that you want to reach for as a guy you have a man crush on, you have to choose the position that where it's all about supply and demand. And I also want to talk about defenses and equity. Okay. So let's take a second and talk about Brandon Cooks. One thing that happened was Brandon Cooks was traded. He was either traded to the Rams or he signed with them. So right now, these are the Rams' current receiving options. Robert Woods, Cooper Kupp, Brandon Cooks, which is the most talented, and there might be one more. I'm honestly no, because Sammy Watkins left for Kansas City. I think Brandon Cook's value declined, and to be honest, I think that's right because he's buried. He was on the Patriots. God, I love fantasy so much. This is my passion. I wish. God, I'm just taking down notes for us to talk about. But that's what listening to those videos do. They give you IQ and they help you win money, championships, and egos. Okay, All right, yeah, running back's garbage. Bye-bye, running back. Okay, let me see what tight ends are available. Okay, ooh, wow, that's weird. Jordan Reed is gone. I'm surprised. I'm not seeing any quarterbacks that impress me. I'm going to fill in my... Or no, you know what? The Jags gone. Okay, this is an interesting situation. Oh, no, I get 2 picks right here. What am I saying? Snag Trey Burton. Can't complain about him. Then I'm going to snag the Jacksonville defense. And I've spoke about this in my other videos. One thing that I've consistently done is, like, for example, right there, I had the opportunity to get like Jacksonville defense instead of like a 5th wide receiver, and I took a superstar defense. And the reason why is because I think that people don't put the importance of drafting defenses enough and kickers in drafts, because you start a defense and a kicker every single week. I mean, quarterbacks, an argument can be made that you start a quarterback every single week, but I really think that quarterbacks are middle tier. Like, for example, let me see what quarterbacks are around. Okay, yeah, see, these are all middle of the pack quarterbacks. Oh, Rivers is gone. Case Keenum. Okay, these are lower tier quarterbacks. I love how, like, people talk bad to each other. It's like, this is supposed to be fun, guys. Can't we all just get along? Okay, Sanu is on an island. Okay, don't care. Upside Eifert. I need to get a quarterback. I'm going to take Dak Prescott. I don't like it. I don't feel good about it, but he's all I have right now. Oh, okay. It's also my pick once again. Okay. Sanu, or upside Tyler Eifert at tight end. Waiver wire. I can get a Sanu value on waiver wire. I'm going to take Tyler Eifert just because of his superstar upside potential. I would never, ever draft Tyler Eifert or Jordan Reed as your number 1 tight end. But if they fall late, take them. You know what I mean? Take them. So right now it's the 11th round. Seems that the draft's going pretty fast. I think it's because these people are talking to each other. Cool, bye. Yeah, look at this, guys. Cool, bye, loser. Like guys, like this is supposed to be fun. Why are we talking bad to each other? Like, we're doing this in our free time as a pastime to enjoy it. I learned in college that there's this law where if you give off positive energy, people around you feel positive energy and vice versa. So definitely. Okay, so I have 2 tight ends, 4 wide receivers, 3 running backs. I have a quarterback. I don't have a place kicker, and I want to make sure and get Greg Zuerlein. So I'm going to take him. I would wait around. Keep in mind that I have back-to-back picks right here, and I'm in the 12th round. I would reach for Greg Zuerlein in the 13th round, not the 12th, because he will still be around, and those picks are really valuable. So, okay, I have kicker, defense, quarterback covered. Now I'm going to look for upside. Okay, running backs are a garbage dump. Okay, I'm not going to choose a 3rd tight end. Okay, see what quarterbacks are around. Ooh, wow, wowzers. Just like recycle the dump that is available right now. Deed West, no. Okay, there's definitely a tier right here that rhymed. Alan Hearns. I'm going to choose Alan Hearns because he went to Dallas and Dez left Dallas. I think that there can be an argument made that he might get some more targets now that Dez left, but they might draft a wide receiver. You never know. Okay, so at this point, I have a superstar kicker, a very good defense, a tier 1, the Le'Veon Bell defense. At tight end, I have Trey Burton and Tyler Eifert. Wide receivers. Let's take a look. Okay. So I want to take a second. I want to talk about something. Allen Robinson and Alan Hearns left Jacksonville. That means that there's quite a bit of targets that have opened up for Deed Westbrook. And one thing that is impressing me is that Deed Westbrook is going this late. I think he can be an upside choice, and I think that he could, just be like a bargain just to add some depth to you and your team. Oh yeah, Deshaun Jackson is a decent player at this point. Oh, I think one of the guys is being mean. The other guy is trying to be nice and mediate and just be like, "Hey guys, let's all be cool." Okay, let me see what's going on with this draft. I always use Google Chrome because it's better than Internet Explorer. Who's Kenyon Johnson? Okay, guys. So the video is almost over. I know this took a little bit longer, but let's take a look at my team. Let me see at the top. Okay. At quarterback, I have Dak Prescott. He's like a lower tier quarterback. I probably could have gotten a better quarterback. That's a weakness on my team. Gurley's my running back 1. That's a strength. Jerick McKinnon's my running back 2. I prefer to have a running back 1 as a running back 2. And if I would have passed on, yeah, he just wasn't around. Okay, so this is a perfect example of how drafting first overall can hurt you. If I drafted 8th or 9th, I could have gotten a running back 1, but instead I got stuck with Jerick McKinnon. He's going to have a good season, but I don't like having a running back 2 as my running back 2. I like having a running back 1 as my running back 2. So Keenan Allen is a good wide receiver 1. Diggs is a solid wide receiver 2. Demaryius Thomas is a good wide receiver 3. One thing I'm ending up with Pierre Garçon a lot with how I draft, and he's a number 1 wide receiver. My guess he's going to get between 120 and 150 targets, so I think that that's pretty solid. Chris Carson is the number 1 running back in Seattle, and I think that that's a good way. I want to recommend that everybody takes a second and considers Chris Carson, considers the strategy of 2 bell cows in the first 3 rounds, 4 wide receivers to fill in, wide receiver 1, wide receiver 3, and flex. And then Chris Carson, he is a number 1 running back that you can get kind of as a safety blanket. Trey Burton is an okay tight end. That's a weakness, but I can always get a tight end off of the waiver wire. Jacksonville defense is good. They're the Le'Veon Bell defense. Tyler Eifert is a good upside tight end in case he is the old Tyler Eifert, then I can sub him. Greg Zuerlein is on his own mini tier. He's the Todd Gurley at kickers. And these players are all upsides that don't really matter. So once again, I want to remind you guys that I'm going to be coming out with a video on how to win your league. And it's going to be step by step what to do at the beginning and what habits to pick up. So I strongly recommend watching that video. I have a feeling that if you guys do the video, follow the steps, and religiously practice the techniques that I'm teaching, I think that you guys can win your league and, walk into your friend's room, you know what I mean? So I want to thank you for watching my video. Stay fly till you die, and I hope that all you guys have a